Well, as usual, they're aggressive and fly around with the football. They don't want to give you anything. They've been that way for a while, and they fit the run real well. And so, the one thing that stands out is their aggressive nature. I think that might have hurt them. Look at him as a highly competitive they don't want to give you a damn hit. They don't want you to run them. They don't want you to throw it. So with that mindset, they attack you almost like you try to attack the defense. They attack you with 3 down. They attack you with 4 down. They attack you with perimeter blitzes. They attack you with backer blitzes. They do everything they can to disrupt your quarterback. So the key is how can you try to, keep that from happening. That's the real challenge. If you can, then you have a shot. So that's what you see from them. And a lot of good players. They've obviously done a good job of recruiting. They're doing a great job of coaching. It's always fun to play because you forget where you're at. Like I said, they're good players that love coach. So it's fun to try and go against them. Try to find a way to win the ball.
So with the aggressiveness of the defense, are there things that like inside passes or stuff that are screen pass that you look for?
I don't know if it's one thing in particular. It's interesting if you look at when teams have hit certain plays against them. Some have been, I'm sure, in their defense, been maybe full assignments. And again, there are certain things that maybe Baylor did, or say Texas Tech did that we don't. So it's the same old thing. We have to do what we do and do it better. Hopefully that works. I thought Baylor did a good job of getting people in space with their play action game. That's obvious. When you watch that film. So whether or not we can do that, I don't know. But again, we're going to have to play to our strength. Hopefully that works against them.
Baylor hit them for some big plays, especially down the middle, and then I understand they made some personnel changes for Iowa State and maybe shifted up some things. Of course, the offense between Iowa State and Baylor are pretty different, but in looking at it on film, could you see some things that they changed quite a bit for Iowa State?
Not really. They didn't really change anything. They changed out of safety. But it's like anybody. At this point in the season, you have what you have. Your players are who you have. You can tweak here and move here, but if it was that obvious, that other guy would have been playing. If it was that obvious he was a better player, he'd be playing. So, they're trying to do what best fits them at the moment. And again, when we watch the film as an offense, we don't know exactly what they're doing. We don't grade their players. They know their players better than we do. So, obviously in their minds, they felt like a couple tweaking a few things would benefit them. But, they're going to do what they do. They're going to run what they run, and they're going to have a plan against us, not solely based on who the safety is that they're playing this week or who they've got going. I don't see much of a difference.
In talking with both Brandon and Dana Holgerson after last year's game, they said that OU did some things against OSU that they hadn't seen on film all year long. How difficult is it to, or can you, prepare for something that you're not sure what's coming?
Well, they went 3 down against them last year. Hadn't really shown that. So that can be difficult. That can disrupt you. What it usually does, it disrupts you as a coordinator. You freak out when you really don't have to. And I'm not talking about Dana in general, I'm talking in general myself. They start doing a few things and you start getting yourself out of rhythm. And, do I think that it disrupts in terms of, what you practiced all week? For sure. But the good news is that if you've played enough teams that are 3 down and 4 down, hopefully you've done enough to where we can adjust and this is what they're doing. Let's go. Here's what we want to be able to do. So, it's just one of those things you have to try and overcome because really no one cares. No one cares whether they're 3 down or 4 down. You just got to find a way to score.
Coach Gundy said he expected Michael Harrison to be back at practice late last week. Has he been back, and how's he looked so far?
Mike's back. We expect him to play. He's looked fine. It's a little tender, but We expect him to play. Well, he's got a whole month to get healthy again, and he's playing for a championship. He's not going to play this week, then he might as well just sit out the whole game.
Did you guys bounce back in pretty good shape after the loss to Iowa State? And the off week, did that help you quite a bit?
I think the off week helped. Again, I can only speak for myself. I can't speak to the team. Obviously, very disappointed. The loss, like any loss. But within a week, you gather yourself and figure out, hey, here's the next opponent. Every goal that we had, realistic goals still in front of us. Playing a BCS game, win the Big 12 championship. I mean, it's no one came in here saying, hey, we're going to win a national championship. That'd be nice, but that wasn't the initial goal. You got to win the conference championship before you can start thinking about a national championship. So that's our goal, is to win the conference championship. So when you do that, then you can start thinking about the next step.
Obviously during the spring, obviously during the fall you take it game by game, but in the spring when you first got here, you would talk about wanting to you had some pretty creative terms to put in it. Was that kind of the goal in the spring, not to back down, not to worry about the game where losing streak, take care of business?
Well, every year is different. Their team's different than it was last year. Our team's different. It's just the way it is. Every year is different, whether it's a streak or not. The reality is we got to go play the next year. And I think whenever you're at a job, you try to figure out where the top is, and you got to beat the peak. You got to knock down whatever that is off the top of the mountain. Whatever that is. I mean, if they're that team, then they're in the way. That's just the way it is. Yeah. So. Just like you wonder why the rivalry between Texas and OU's been so big, it's because they're usually battling for the top. That's how rivalries don't develop when it's one-sided. They develop when it matters. Tennessee and Florida is not as big anymore, but it was when Peyton Manning was there in Spurs. It was big because it mattered who won. So that's what it is. That's what it's all about. You want to win the league, then it's whoever's in the way of winning the league. That happens to be OU, and it has been. Texas, those have been the schools that you have to beat if you want to get on top of the mountain. So and let alone that they're right here in your state. And bottom line is that they happen to be that team. Like I said, it just happens to be them.